Hi guys, how you doing? Yesterday in my post came the brand new Born to Run eyeshadow palette. I saw this on Urban Decay's website. I got an email from Urban Decay about an early release in the UK, so I was like, oh, I want to try this out. I'll be honest, I haven't really looked into this palette much. I think I saw it once or twice. I haven't really been following a lot of like makeup releases recently, and I kind of just came across this one, and I haven't been that excited really about any Urban Decay eyeshadow releases recently, so I thought I'll give this one a go and see how it is. This is the packaging. It's the Urban Decay Born to Run eyeshadow palette, and it comes with, I believe, 21 eyeshadows, and it actually retails for £39.50 on the Urban Decay website. Last time I checked, it wasn't actually on the website yet, or it was on the website but it was out of stock, I think. So but I will link it down below for you. It says, for the adventurer, the road warrior, or the weekend escapist, no matter where you're going or what you're getting up to, Born to Run is the only palette you need to pack and never look back. From matte and neutral for meetings in San Francisco, I wish, to jeweled and metallic must-have for that weekend getaway in South Beach, again, I wish, or completely smoked out at Saturday night dinner with babe. We've got you covered with options for endless looks, with 21 curated shades, a huge mirror, and a collage of our own personal travel photos recreated. Born to Run to inspire you to take a rain check on reality. Now grab this palette and run. If you didn't get the gist of that, this is supposed to be an all-in-one palette, as in an all-in-one eyeshadow palette, because you know when you go traveling or when you go I don't know, overnight somewhere and you are, like me, packing a little makeup bag, it's sometimes a bit difficult to think, okay, what should I pack? And I think this is their whole point with this palette, and this is the palette here. This is quite a weighty palette. It doesn't feel cheap at all. On the front and the back, it actually has different destination landmarks and just like pictures, as if someone's gone on holiday and just taken some holiday pictures, which I think is actually really, really nice. And it's actually quite a big palette as well, like a decent sized eyeshadow palette. It's quite a longer palette as well, but I don't think it will be too much for travel. And the fact that this is supposed to be a travel palette, I love the fact that it's quite sturdy. So can you hear that? It's got some weight to it. What you get on the inside is the 21 eyeshadows, as you can see there, and it's got this really big mirror. On the corner of the mirror, it just says Born to Run there, and you can actually fold the mirror back all the way, which I think is quite nice. Although sometimes you do want to be able to kind of sit there with your palette up if you're like in a hotel and just, you know, have your mirror sitting up, but you know, I think it's still quite decent. I don't really think Urban Decay have come out with a palette like this, at least not for a very long time. I'm really a fan of the convenience aspect of this palette. As I said, I just bought this. I didn't really do much research into it before I bought it, but I just was really intrigued by it, and I thought, these are shades that I actually could use and do use on a regular basis. To me, it's a one-stop palette, I think. Yesterday I did use it and I created a look which I'll post in here, and I posted that on my Instagram, and I was just playing around with the shadows, and I had no issues with this palette, if I'm being completely honest with you. I haven't obviously used all the eyeshadows in this palette yet, but all the shadows that I have actually used I thought worked well. I was able to blend them really well. Like the matte eyeshadows in this feel very soft, and not crumbly soft, but as in like smooth. I don't know how to explain it, but they really do. And the shimmers as well swatch beautifully, and they worked really nicely on the eyes. I think for some of them you could intensify by wetting your brush, but overall, from the shades I actually used, I was really impressed. I know I did say in my previous video that I don't really see the point of swatching eyeshadows a lot of the time, because it's obviously how it performs on the eyes, but I know some people just still like to see what the shadows look like. So I'm going to quickly swatch the eyeshadows for you. I'm not going to put a primer down, I'm just literally going to do a finger swatch. Finger swatches are not my favourite, by the way. I'm just doing this to literally show you the colour of each of the eyeshadows. The test of the formula is obviously on my eyes and your eyes, so just bear that in mind. So I'm going to start with the first row up here, then I'll move on to the second row, then I'll move on to the final third row here. This first shade here is called Breakaway, and it's described as a warm ivory shimmer. This second shade here is called Stranded, and it's described as a pale rose gold with tonal micro shimmer. This third shade here is called Blaze, and it's a light metallic peach with pink shift. This is a beautiful eyeshadow. This next shade here is called Weekender, and it's a light neutral beige matte. This next shade is called Still Shot, and it's described as a bright peach. I actually had to layer this 3 times to get this pigment to show on me, but I think it would be a nice subtle transition shade of my skin tone. This next shade, if you can just about see it, is called Riff, and it's basically similar to my skin tone. It's a brown nude matte with floating micro sparkle. This next shade is called Good as Gone, and it's a deep brown with iridescent micro shimmer. We're on to the second row now, and on the second row this shade is called Hell Ride, and it's described as a deep fuchsia matte. This next shade is called, now I have no idea, I think it's Beija or Beja? Beja? I'm sorry guys, but this shade is described as a burnt orange matte. This next shade is called Accelerate, and it's a reddish copper metallic, and it's beautiful. Such a stunning colour. This next shade is called Guilt Trip, and it's described as a smoky purple shimmer. This next shade is called Ignite, and stunning, and it's described as a rose gold metallic. It's so beautiful. This next shade is called Smog, and it's described as a deep coppery bronze shimmer. Beautiful shade as well. And the last shade in the second row is called Wanderlust, and this is a forest green with gold micro shimmer. Right, so we're heading into the final row, and this shade here is called Wild Heart, and Wild Heart is described as a bright fuchsia. Beautiful shade. I actually used this yesterday on my inner V. Loved it. This next shade is called Punk, and it's described as red brown matte. This next shade is called Double Life, and it's described as a metallic rust. Beautiful. This next shade is called Jet, and it's a black with deep shimmering purple shift. This next shade is called Drift, and it's described as a charcoal satin with tonal micro sparkle. This is such a beautiful shade. I used this on my lid yesterday and loved it. This next shade is called Radio, and it's a deep emerald satin. Gorgeous shade. And the last shade is called Big Sky, which is described as a frosted green shimmer with iridescent micro sparkle. So those were all the swatches. I'm now going to play around the palette and just create a look. I have no idea which look I'm going to do yet. I've already primed my eyes, set my eyes, so I am ready to go. By the way, I do look very one-dimensional because I'm doing a foundation review, which you guys will see very soon on my channel. So that's why I'm looking like this. Just had to explain myself, you know? I'm not a beauty guru, guys, so the boring side of me is really speaking right now, but I don't know. Should I just be regular old me? You know what, I'm gonna stick to a coppery kind of warm eyeshadow look today. I think I just feel like it. We might be able to play with some color. First things first, we are going to go into a nice transition shade. So first of all, I'm going to take the shade Riff, which I have just dug into as I dropped my palette, and a little bit of kickback in this, nothing too controversial, you know, and I'm just going to take that and place it into my transition area. I like this shade because it just gives me a very natural like transition, nothing crazy, nothing too extravagant. Like I could easily use this as an everyday transition. I really like this shade. I think to kind of slightly warm it up a little bit, we're going to go into the shade Beja, I don't know guys, but this orange shade here, and we're gonna take that on our brush. It's quite pigmented, and we're just going to just warm up our transition. So I'm doing like very light, wispy kind of circular motions here because I want it all to be very airbrushed. I think having an orange in a palette is just an essential. Like a deep orange shade, I think should be in a lot of palettes, a lot more palettes to be honest. I'm not doing any cut creases, we're not going that deep today. So we're gonna go into the shade Double Life, which is just this coppery shade here. And I'm gonna pack that onto my lid. Oh, that is beautiful. Okay. And by the way, I'm loving this mirror on this palette. So I folded the palette and I'm actually literally just using the mirror on this. I love that you can fold the palette back. I think if you want to intensify it, you could definitely spray the shadow. So let's try intensifying it just to show you what I mean. So yeah, spraying it definitely helps, as I already knew. Do you know what? I just said I wasn't going to do any crazy colours, but this blue is really calling me right now. So I'm going to take the shade Radio, which is that metallic blue. I'm going to put that here. Oh, that's gorgeous. I'm going to take the shade Ignite as our, like, it's like a copper colour. I'm going to take it and use that to kind of blend the two shades together. Okay, so I've just had to kind of go back and forth with that like colour and just make sure everything's blended. But I'm just going to use my brush that I was using before for my transition. And just making sure there's no like harsh lines there. Okay. What do you guys think? I think that's really, really pretty. I think what I might do is just take a little bit of the black to just deepen up the blue. So a little bit of Jet to just deepen up that blue. Shade just a tad on the outer V. I actually really like the way this is turning out. I think it looks quite cool. I know I said I was going to try and do all natural, but yeah. I'm going to finish up the rest of my eyes and I will be back with my final thoughts. Alright guys, so I have finished doing my full face now. I am going back and forth recording 2 videos on the same day. Don't ask me why I decided to do that. I've done my eyes, as you can see. I am very, very impressed with the outcome. Obviously, I did my eyes the other day with this palette as well, so I kind of already know how the palette performs, but I did use all different shades today. I'm loving the way the look looks. My eyes, all I did from the last time you saw me, I just put the shade Radio, that dark blue that I put on my outer V. I put this shade here on my lower lash line, lined my eyes with a black kohl liner, put on some mascara on my inner corners just to brighten them up. I just used the shade Blaze, which is that iridescent pinky gold colour, to brighten things up on the inner corners, and yeah, that's it really. And I think it looked really, 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 really nice. My overall thoughts on this particular palette is I give it a really big thumbs up. I think it's well thought out actually. I think they really did think about the kind of essential shades that you would want if you were going out or if you were going away. You know, so they did think of your everyday shades. I mean, I know when I'm going away, I will definitely pack this because the packaging is sturdy and the colours are everything I think I need, to be honest. I'm not saying it's got every shade that you probably would want in a palette in here, but I think what they have chosen is a decent range. The shadows work well. I don't get like a lot of fallout, not even on my face. I didn't really get a lot of fallout from that. The shadows blended beautifully on my eyes. I didn't have any trouble. I'd say that with some of the shimmers, I would definitely say that you would have to wet them for them to really really pop, but typically Urban Decay shadows are normally quite good. I know that not all of these shadows are new. These are shadows that I think they've had already in other palettes. if I'm correct, they have, I think I've seen the shade Smog before. So it's not like you're getting all brand new eyeshadows, which I personally don't necessarily mind. It's, I think what they've kind of done is put kind of a lot of the favorites into a palette. So yeah, I like the idea, I really do. I think it's definitely worth it. It's only, I say only, but it's still quite pricey, but it's £39.50, which for me is kind of like a decent price for 21 eyeshadows, I think personally. The pans are a decent size as well. You get a total of 7 actual mattes, and I think the black has a slight sheen to it, but no, I'll put the black as a matte as well. You get around about 8 mattes in this, and then the rest of them are shimmers. So you do get less mattes than you do shimmers, but to be honest, I think the shimmers that they have chosen have been quite decent. One thing I would have loved to see in this would have been a navy colour to really work with that radio shadow, and maybe possibly taking away one of the browns, because I think we've got 2 browns in here and I don't really know why we need 2 browns. I know they've got slight different depth to them, but I still think we could have put a different colour in place of one of the browns in here. I think everybody's kind of got a shade for them in terms of a transition shade, a base shade. I think every skin tone definitely has something in here that they could work with. I would definitely recommend it. I love the fact it's got this mirror in there, and it's really decent mirror. It's a long mirror. I think we've got to a stage now that companies have pumped out so many products that it's going to be very difficult to really produce something that is going to be, that's never been done before, if that makes sense, as in a color range, this color palette that's never been worked before. So you are going to get from, you know, whatever it is that you buy now, I really do believe that you are going to see similar shades in as other palettes. So to me, that's not really a big deal. For me, the main issue is the formula, and if I am looking at similarity, are the differences outweighing the similarities? And yes, I'm very happy that I got my hands on it. Thanks guys for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Everyone keeps talking about the notification bell, so I'm gonna give my 2 cents as well. You can click the notification bell if you would like to see when I post, but if you don't, it's completely up to you anyway. But definitely please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Take care guys, bye.